Well, all is well out west, but here in the central, it doesn't, or I should say out west as well for the Astros, because they're not in the central anymore. Interesting. But torpedo bats, are they the answer? What is going on in Houston? And will going to frigid Minnesota cure the offense blues? Let's go right now.
I'm looking to the bullpen to bring my lefty in. Keep the lead and make your team look pedestrian. It's in your wheelhouse, we'll swing for the fence. You know it's money around here, man, I ain't talking expense. Strike one, hit a low in the way, you can't hit it. You know you wanna start a rally, but you better forget it. Strike two, off speed, same spot, your car looking. Get ready at the plate, this time you're not cooking. Strike three, swinging out of the zone. You ain't even touch it first. Tell me how they gonna drive you home. Walking back, looking like we ain't cool then. The game's over, might as well put them back to the bullpen, oh yeah.
That's right, everybody, and welcome back to the bullpen. I am H-Town Wheelhouse, and we are here live in studio once again, myself and the lefty, Mike Stanton. You know where to find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on pretty much any social media platform. Well, on Instagram, it's with an underscore because someone has my identity.
How dare they?
Well, they gained it in 2022. I don't know how I missed that, but I did. So I digress. That's okay. The show, though, which is the most important thing. And Mike, you can find the show at Spotify, on iHeartRadio, here on YouTube, on Instagram, on X. I mean, look, you know, I'm always positive, always Astros. Mike, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, there's only one place on social media, and that's going to be on X, formerly known as Twitter, and it's Mike Stanton 29.
That's right. Like Tiki says every show, time to bring in the lefty, you know. Mike, I made a YouTube short, and I don't know if you saw it. I found a picture of you throwing. There was another picture of you from, I think, when you pitched with, didn't you pitch for the Reds?
I pitched for everyone, Brett. Everyone. Okay.
Well, there was a Reds
I did.
picture.
That was actually the last team I was with in the big leagues were the Reds.
So it was a picture with the Reds, and it looked like he hadn't shaven it was just like this great candid picture of you, but I'm like, I don't know if Mike's going to appreciate me putting that picture up there.
Whatever.
But there's all kinds of cool pictures, and I'm pretty sure if I were to scour through my baseball cards, that I'm sure that I have some of your baseball cards in my collection.
No doubt.
Because
doubt.
Especially
from the early 90s.
Yeah,
you know, definitely. The strike of 94 killed the baseball card industry.
Oh, yeah.
But prior to 94, I mean, there were, I don't even know how many different card companies there were, and they were all putting out multiple sets a year. So, you know, I probably have 2 or 3 times more like Braves cards from the early 90s than all the rest of the cards, all the rest of the teams put together.
So I'll tell you this. So back then, I think there were a total of, 44 different sets.
Mm-hmm.
Now with all the inserts and all the variants, there's over 44,000 sets.
Wow.
I mean, we thought the 90s was saturated.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot saturated now.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the baseball card industry is changed so much and everything, but yeah, that fiasco we had in 1994 when the owners tried to break the players union, that is definitely a scar on Major League Baseball.
Yeah. Oh no, it was indelible at the time. I mean, and it tanked a lot of really good seasons, especially in the National League. Speaking of Houston,
only time we had no World Series.
Right. I mean, Houston, Montreal, the Montreal Expos could have gone. I mean, the Montreal Expos were good. I mean,
we weren't listen, Atlanta, we weren't catching them. We were like 9 games back.
Wow.
They were outstanding. Now, there was a silver lining that came out of 94, and that was the National League MVP. Who was that?
Jeff Bagwell.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, definitely Baggy caught that. And I think he would have got it with the entire season. He was just,
I don't know if this is public knowledge, but the day before we went on strike, so August 10th, I believe he got an injury. He had a hand injury.
Oh,
and
really?
I think he was going on the DL. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Not for sure. Don't know that absolute, but that's kind of the rumors I heard.
Interesting. Well, what might have been, what could have been, but thank the Lord for baseball turning a blind eye to steroids and then all of a sudden gaining a righteous bone in their body. Speaking of steroids, I'll get to news around the league because we had another person popped. But we'll bury the lead there with that. The Astros might go into the Giants series winning 2-3 against the Mets, a solid team, a really good effort. You don't get swept, looking good. The offense was a little bit anemic. San Francisco comes into town. I'm looking at their numbers. I'm looking at their pitching numbers. I'm looking at their hitters. They strike out more. They give up more hits. I mean, all this stuff. Well, you know what? None of that mattered because the Astros, they hit single after single after single, only managed 2, maybe 3 extra base hits. I think only 2. Maybe there was a third one, but they literally out-hit the Giants. Get this. They out-hit the Giants today. The Giants had 16 strikeouts. The Astros had 14 strikeouts. Framber Valdez pitched 1 more inning, had 2 more strikeouts than the Giants starting pitcher, and the Giants won. That's baseball.
That's why you have to play it. I mean, it's not played on paper. This is one of the things. We all have to do it. We do it every single season, make predictions, but it's just a guess. I mean, we would like to consider those educated guesses, but it's still just a guess. You have no idea what's going to happen. And, other than today's game, I think the one constant you can say so far in this season is that the Astros pitching has been pretty good. I mean, they have done their job on the mound. The problem has really been the offense, and not just they're getting some hits, but they're not stringing anything together. And I think this was one of the concerns coming out of spring training. Where is the consistent offense coming from? But listen, Brett, this is not a new thing. This isn't something that the Astros it just showed up in 2025. This has been going on all the way. Listen, you go all the way back to 2017. Okay. If you remember the issues that we had that came out in 2020, the trash can banging stuff. But, I remember distinctly the media asking AJ Hinch seemingly every day at home, what's wrong with this team at home? Why can't they hit at home? That was the year that they redesigned center field. Okay, so the hitting background was different. The offense at home has been, I think the best thing I can say is that it's been inconsistent ever since then. So even to the 2022, World Series championship team.
True.
That was not a good offensive team. That wasn't a team that was ripping the cover off the ball.
No.
That was a team that pitched their rear ends off all year. And if you remember, it was led by Justin Verlander, who won the Cy Young, and he never had a blow-up start. He did not have a start that he gave up 4 runs.
Right. No, that was an amazing year. I mean, and it still boggles my mind that the Nationals, by luck, won that World Series. Now, it doesn't take anything away. It's a Game 7 World Series. It's a legit win. I'm not saying it's not counted as a win.
Sure.
But the way they won, I actually, and I may have shared this with you before, but I did a little event where I hosted Will Harris, Roy Oswalt, Pudge Rodriguez, Ruben Sierra, all these former Astros, Dan Wheeler. And Will said, I would make that same pitch 10 times out of 10. He goes, I promise you 9 times out of 10, he doesn't hit that ball. He just got good wood on it. And as a pitcher, that's why you pitch. And as a hitter, that's why you swing the bat.
It's one of the things we love about this sport is that you can do everything right as a pitcher, the right pitch, the right situation. You execute the pitch, and sometimes the hitters still get you. I mean, you got to remember that they get paid a lot of money to spoil those really good pitches. Usually it doesn't get hit like that, but occasionally, they run into it.
Especially off the foul pole. So Panda, Spring Panda here actually does have a question for you. And since we're talking about pitching, I think it's kind of in the lane we're in, but it's about Hunter Brown. We know Hunter Brown is, the up and coming future ace of this club. We know that he just hired Scott Boras.
Mhm.
We know typically what that means for a young, promising player. When you hire Scott Boras, you're going for the bag, as kids would say. So Supreme Panda asked, do you think, and he's asking you, Mike, because he asked me if he could ask you. So I can't answer the question. I'm joking. Do you think Houston will extend Hunter Brown? And I'll add something to that. If they do you think now that he has Boris, do you think he would do something before he's done with his arbitration phase? Or do you think he's going to wait all the way till free agency?
That's a tough one. People need to understand that Scott Boras, yes, you hire him because most of the time he gets you top dollar. But people also need to understand that Hunter Brown doesn't work for Scott Boras. Scott Boras works for Hunter Brown.
True.
Okay, so he's the one that has the ultimate hammer. I think there may be an opportunity for the Astros to extend him. I don't know if they would be able to get any free agent years.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what you're trying to do, to get cost certainty through those arbitration years, and then maybe get a free agent year at the back end. I don't know if that would be between, Hunter Brown and Scott Boras, if that is an option. But the other problem that we know that Hunter is going to have if he wants to stay in Houston is that, we've seen it time and time again. Jim Crane is not just going to back up the Brinks, armored truck and start shelling out money. He has a threshold that he is not going to go over. And we saw this last offseason with Alex Bregman. He gave him his best offer at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And did not move off of it. And we all thought that, listen, one more year,
and we had heard rumors that they upped the offer, and
we never saw. It was never confirmed that.
Actually, Jim Crane did say on opening day, we never upped the offer.
Oh, there you go. So it wasn't confirmed back then, but it was confirmed recently that he never upped the offer. So it's kind of crazy that Jim and the Astros throw out their best offer right at the beginning and don't move from it, because you usually there's a little bit of negotiation room, but Jim said, nope, this is it, take it or leave it.
Well, and this talk I think is also important. I'm going to add something else I want to say about this with news around the league, because I want to get to the torpedo bats first. Covered it on Locked On Astros. It's all the rave. I actually went to the Marucci website.
Yeah. And
you can purchase a torpedo bat for $169 pro model. It's actually a nice looking bat. I kind of want one, but I don't want the blue. I mean, I don't want the wood grain color. I want like a fancy one. I want a custom Astros colored torpedo bat. I'm just like, these things are flying off the shelves. And
so you're not using it. You're not getting it to use. You want it to put on your wall back behind you.
Yeah. I mean, heck yeah. I want the first Astro that hits a home run to sign my torpedo bat if I get one. But Christian Walker was quoted by the Cron today saying that he has used one. He's tried one. He said it's actually kind of neat. Cam Smith said he used one when he was in the Cubs organization. He said it's kind of like a shiny new toy.
Right.
But he does, like, Joe Espada didn't say, okay, we're getting them delivered and everybody's using them that night. Basically, they're getting them. They are going to use them in BP. They're going to use them in the tunnel. Yes. They're going to see how they feel. Christian Walker said, look, anything to help me make better contact, I'm willing to look at. So at this point, it's not like the players are just throwing all their old bats away. And I don't know that this is not a cookie cutter bat, like one size fits all, right?
No, it is not. This is a bat that's for a very specific hitter, and it's a hitter that has a tendency more times than not to hit the ball up on the label. And when we say the label, we mean towards the middle of the bat.
Yeah. Right here.
Yeah. So when you get the ball closer to where it says LS Louisville Slugger, the bat's going to break, and you're not going to hit the ball very hard. It's not going to go very far. The sweet spot on that bat is about 2-3 inches off the end of the bat, and it lasts for 3 or 4 inches. That's where the sweet spot of the bat is. So when you When you catch the ball up on the label, that's not the sweet spot of that bat, of a standard bat. So with the torpedo bat, it moves the sweet spot more towards the center of the bat. Now, the problem is the end of the bat is
Weaker
more
now, right?
narrow. It's more narrow, and it's not going to be as solid. It's going to be much harder to hit the ball out there. So you're not talking about, something that just everybody is going to use. If you got, Altuve hits the ball off the end of the bat all the time. I would be surprised. I think he'll experiment with it, but I would be surprised if you see Altuve with the type of hitter he is using a torpedo bat. This is the new craze. I mean, tell you the truth, my issue, if I were a hitter, I think it looks ridiculous, and to me that means something.
Someone had the picture of Jazz Chisholm holding a rocket from a shoulder rocket from an RPG.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
It does.
It looks like an RPG.
But hey, Major League Baseball says it's legal, and here's the thing: this isn't new. It's not like this just came out a month ago. This has been. I mean, there were guys that were using it last year, and you heard a couple of the Astros have actually experimented with it.
Right.
So it's just one of those things, and the reason why it exploded was because the Yankees happened to use it on a couple of hitters were using it on a day that they had a ridiculous day, hitting 8 home runs in the first 3 innings.
Yeah. It was like, hey, what's going on here? New bats.
And all of those home runs were not hit with the torpedo bat.
No, they were not.
Aaron Judge hit 3. He had a regular standard bat.
Yeah.
I think 3 of the 9 home runs that were hit in that game, they hit another one a little later in the game. The record, by the way, is 10 home runs in one game.
Yeah.
By, I think, the 87 Rangers against the Blue Jays.
Wow.
And by the way, that was with standard bats, no torpedo bat.
Did you ever pitch in the original Ranger Stadium?
I did not. My first, you talking about Memorials? No.
Okay, so there was Ranger Stadium, and then there was they called it the ballpark at Arlington.
Ballpark in Arlington, yes. That's the first one I pitched in.
Now, how hot was it out there? Were you out there? Wasn't it
I played for the Rangers. I played for the Rangers.
Oh my
the
God.
Visiting bullpen might be the hottest place on the planet.
Well,
during a day game.
On a tour, they told us that the visitor dugout and the visitor bullpen are positioned in ways that they get the most sun on purpose. And I'm
the problem with the visiting bullpen is the way they positioned it, and the way that you had behind you had all of the office complexes.
Yes.
The office building that had reflective windows.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
So you got hit on the front side, and then you got hit on the back side also. And the crazy thing was, all of the walls around there were cinder block. Well, what is cinder block? Cinder block's an oven. They were also painted dark green, which means they absorb the heat. I can remember many, many times being in the bullpen. It's 10:30 at night. We're just sweating freaking bullets.
Wow.
And then I get called into the game, and when you run out the gate and you run on the field, it was noticeably cooler. I mean, it's like, oh man, it's cool out here.
Yeah. Well, I remember so the summer that I lived in Fort Worth, it was the summer where they had like 49 consecutive days of 100 plus degrees. And we were idiots. We still went to the ballpark because that was the closest ballpark, and we would just roast. I mean, it was murder. So this.
So 1996, first year Rangers, that organization makes the playoffs. I'm on that team. I get traded over from Boston on the trade deadline. And so, we used to shorten BP because it would just be so hot on the field. But the crazy thing was, if you ever use like a high home camera angle and just view the whole field, there would be nobody on the field except like a couple of the bat boys in left center field and right center field. All of the players would be in a very small sliver of shadow that was right down the right field line. That was the only place you could get out of the sun. So that's where all the players were. And because it would, oh my gosh, just so incredibly hot. But you know what? It's still still one of my, especially exterior. It's still one of my favorite ballparks. The exterior of that stadium, absolutely
I love it.
Beautiful.
Well, yeah, I love it. I still have a hard spot in my heart for Arlington because when I'm touring the stadium from Houston, one of the original capitals of Texas, and was only moved because Maribou Lamar hated Sam Houston and turned Waterloo into Austin. A little Texas history note there for you. But Stephen F. Austin, we love him. They have a big wooden state of Texas that they moved to the new stadium, and they're all the major cities in Texas. Even San Angelo is marked on there, except Houston. Houston
really?
is that's so Arlington of them. Anyways, let's talk about the West before I get too mad.
Okay.
So the West, Mike, in the West, you had the Braves take an early 2-0 lead. Then they took a 5-2 lead. And as we are on this show, the Los Angeles Dodgers just went 8-0. Shohei Ohtani walk-off home run in the ninth inning. They are undefeated. I
think that's a record, right? I think 8-0 is a record.
And I've said it at the beginning of the season, if they don't beat the Mariners was it Oakland or Seattle? Seattle, the 115 games?
116.
Oh, 116. If they don't beat that, if they don't get 100,
that was in 2001.
There you go. If they don't get 121 wins.
And by the way, the Yankees, we stole their lunch money that year.
I know. I was like, see, that's whenever Seattle gets hot, I'm like, yeah, I remember when they won all those games and still couldn't win. But you've got literally out in the West, you got the Padres 7-0. You've got the Dodgers now 8-0. And I'm trying to look. The Padres won today. Yeah. I mean, these guys can't lose. The NL West, Mike, is strong and going as it should in my preseason predictions because I had the Padres as a wild card. Dodgers, they're winning that. San Francisco's 5-1. Arizona's 4-2, and there's Colorado 1-4. I mean, everything's right in the National League West world. But Shohei Ohtani, this guy could win and probably will win another MVP this year. It's unreal what this guy's doing.
He could. And I mean, he's won a couple already. And, the unfortunate thing is there is a little syndrome that I like to call the Mike Trout syndrome, which Mike Trout was so good for so many years. I think that's one of the reasons why he didn't win it. But where Shohei has the advantage is pitching. He's not pitching right now, but he's going to pitch. And just having a two-way player and being one of the best in baseball in both aspects of the game, there's just so much PR. There's so much coverage that goes with that. It's next to impossible. If unless he just does not pitch well,
right?
Okay, then maybe somebody else can sneak in there. But it's the dude is legit. He is probably the number one player in Major League Baseball. I would actually open up my wallet and pay money to go watch him play.
No, yeah. I mean, I remember the very first time I saw him play in Houston when he was with.
And by the way, there's not many of those, and I am not on that list.
Oh, of what? You mean
that I would pay to go play?
Oh, there you go.
Watch. I'm sorry, to go watch.
Now, okay, I have a question. Do you have, as a former player, do you get the gold card, where you get into?
I have it. Yep.
Nice.
You get 10 years. I don't know how it works. I don't know if.
Don't you just show it like an ID?
I know you used to, but I don't know if you can do that anymore. I think you may have to go through the Players Association, and I don't even know where they would sit you. I've never tried it. I've never, but yes,
well, hey.
I've got a gun safe right here next to me, and I think it's
I've heard they've added a +1 clause. So if you ever want to go to a game, I can be your +1. How's that?
You know what? You could be. I don't know if you would be though.
Oh dang! Wow, I see where I rank. Oh man, it's all good. I deserve that one though. Yeah. So right now we're not assigning divisional crowns unless you're I guess you can't even assign it with the Dodgers. But when you look at the AL West, I mean, it's kind of topsy-turvy right now. Of course, like you say, it's early in the season, 162 games.
Yeah.
The Astros and A's are kind of there at the bottom. Rangers are 5-2, Angels are 4-2. But you have Mike Trout that's healthy this year. Mike Trout will be coming to Houston, and he's hoping to stay healthy. I think a healthy Mike Trout helps this team.
It's good for baseball. It's good for baseball. Mike Trout, to tell you the truth, if he is truly healthy, he will be one of the best players in baseball again.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his talent level. It's devastating. And I know he's, playing in the same division as the Astros, all that kind of stuff. But, I'm a baseball fan also. Mm-hmm. It's just devastating that he has not been able to live up to what he did, his first, 7 or 8 years in the league.
Right. So, they have Yusei Kikuchi. They signed him. He did get a loss in his first start, but he did go 6 innings. Last year he had an issue towards the end going 5 innings. They got Soriano. There's just a lot of storylines out there. I think the Royals have a really good squad. Boston has a really good squad, and they're underperforming. Yeah. I don't know if you saw Alex Bregman take that big spill the other day. He was the
face plant. The sniper got him. Yeah,
that was a brutal sniper, man. That was he ate dirt there. Toronto started off hot. They are 5-2 in the AL Central. They're the division of mediocrity. Every team is 2-4 right now.
The crazy thing about that is that we've all thought that is going to be a much more competitive.
Yeah.
A much more competitive.
It is.
Now it is competitive, yeah, but I think everyone thought they were going to be much more competitive around the league. But all of this, including the Astros with the struggles that they had,
right?
In this
They're
series,
2-4.
Sample size is so small.
Right.
I mean, you got to take everything with a grain of salt and make sure that you don't overreact. Now, if you have had concerns about a certain team, like we discussed, the Astros offense, that is mm-hmm. something that is an issue that we're going to keep an eye on. I think, there's some validity to that conversation, but, overall, and, the Astros historically have always been a better road team than
I just don't get it. Like, when you watch the Dodgers play at home, they're just so good, unless it's the 2017 World Series. They are so good, and the Astros just aren't. And there's a lot of talk now. This is social media. These are people who aren't the baseball guys, but there's a lot of talk about Cintrone and Snitker. Like, my thing is, and look, I'm not saying it's always a hitting coach's fault when players don't perform.
Yeah.
But what I'm wondering is, in what they coach or what they focus on, are there things they're not focusing on? Like, where does all this play in? Because firing a coach isn't always the answer, but I guess that seems to be the fall guy almost every time.
That's
right?
Exactly what they are. I mean, you're actually picking on the low man on the totem pole.
Right.
I always think it's hilarious. Now, you don't have all the backstory or anything like that, because sometimes there's something extraordinary happens in the clubhouse. There's an argument, or there's just a complete and total lack of communication.
Right. True.
Okay, that's one thing. But, when a team doesn't perform, somebody has to go. Sometimes you can't fire the manager. So now all of a sudden
let the players go because you're paying them too much.
That's right. You can't fire the players. You can't fire them. So somebody has to go. And a lot of times it is the low man on the totem pole, which is the hitting coach or pitching coach, depending on what the issue is for the team. And, the thing is, you have to remember, almost all major league players are type A personalities. They've all been the best player in their league, best player on their team, best player in their town, their whole lives.
Right.
And so, anybody that's a type A personality that's been successful, they don't like change. they don't like somebody telling them that they're doing something wrong. So, really a hitting coach is there as a resource. They don't have any real pull. A pitching coach doesn't have any real pull over a big league pitcher. He can try,
Right.
and build a relationship, and hopefully with that relationship, now, you maybe have a little bit of pull, but for the most part, if a pitcher or hitter, they're going to do what they want to do. And
That's true.
It's not until they hit rock bottom that they go, okay, you got something for me? And you hope that, rock bottom isn't the whole team hitting rock bottom, because that's when somebody loses a job. But, you see this every once in a while, and
Right.
we've had seasons years ago that there were teams that had a lot of like hamstring issues or something like that, and you see the strength and conditioning coach get fired,
Right.
and you're like, wait, what? The strength and conditioning coach has nothing to do with those hamstrings, but
Hold on. You mean he's not responsible for every one of those players' stretching routines?
Right? Well, there's a routine, but he's not responsible whether they do it or not.
Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, sample size is extremely small. Now, Snitker's and Cintron have been around for several years, so there's a track record there. But you know how this works. The people out there that are the real baseball enthusiasts, they know that general managers, they're not even going to consider, unless things go really bad off the rails, they're not even looking at the team as far as the personnel, if everybody's healthy, until May. Maybe even mid-May.
I mean, let's take last year as your example, right? I mean, they went through a really bad lull.
Oh, Joe Espada was getting fired.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Remember, he had lost the clubhouse. What? We're a month into the season. He's lost the clubhouse. I mean, that was the rumor.
I had someone send me a message on social media, and they asked me, have you heard any rumors about Jim Crane wanting to sell the team because he doesn't seem interested in baseball? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't heard that.
Was it two off seasons ago that he was the general manager?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, Mike, I got a question.
Okay.
What are you up to these days? Because I know you do Back to the Bullpen with me, but you've got some other irons in the fire. You got some other things going on. What's going on? How's life going? How's life changed for you?
Well, life has been a little difficult over the last few months. We've had some tragedy here in the Stanton family, but we're doing fine. I have known this since before Christmas. I just haven't said anything. But as of right now, I am no longer with Space City Home Network. I know that they've only done a few games, but I am not doing pre and post as of now. I mean, obviously the phone could ring and they could change their minds, but my contract was not renewed. And, so it's kind of bittersweet. Yes, I have other things that I'm looking into and that I want to do, but I covered the Astros in some capacity for like the last 11 or 12 years. So this will be the first year that you're not going to see this ugly mug on television.
Oh man. No, hey, when I went to opening day, people were like, "Hey, I can't wait to see Mike, up on Space City Home Network," and I didn't know whether or not to say anything. And but I mean, definitely everyone that I've talked to mentions that, and I know that is actually how we met. I was with Locked On, and I was like, I thought to myself, and I'm not just saying this because you are the one I'm telling this to or the audience, but I was like, I bet you he's really easy to talk to. Like, he just seems like a regular guy. I want to see if he'll come on the show. And he goes, and you were like, yeah, sure, I'll come on the show. And then, from there, we just kind of got to know each other off camera, off air. And then this is our first, we're like one full season, of doing Back to the Bullpen. And we've got some other things that we're kind of trying to cook up here and there, but Back to the Bullpen is growing. I know you also do the Believe in Astros well with Jeff Balke, I believe. Is that
still doing that? Yep.
Okay, so doing that.
I was doing also a Believe in the Bronx, which I think we're trying to find another host for that one.
Okay.
But as far as actually broadcasting, I got some irons in the fire, feeling things out, see what's out there. But I do want to say this, from deep down inside my heart, I want to thank all the Astros fans for the support and love they've given me over the years, for the Astros organization, for Space City Home Network, all the executives there, and I had a great run. But hey, listen, sometimes things you need to move forward, you need to do other things, and I'm always going to look back on that time covering the team, doing pre and post. You got to remember, I go all the way back to when this team had some real struggles back before 2015. And, covering this team all the way through this golden age of Astros baseball has been nothing but an honor.
No, that and it's been great. And I mean, I know with stuff we're doing and other opportunities you got going on, there's not a whole lot that can hold you back.
I'm still here. I'm still on Twitter. Well, X, still here on doing the podcast thing. And, who knows? Only the Lord knows what the future holds.
That's right. Maybe Mike is going to open a torpedo bat plant.
Really? Actually, I'm doing a lot of coaching now also.
Right.
And we were laughing about it with me and some of my buddies tonight about, we're going to come out with the first aluminum bat or BB core bat that is a torpedo bat. And I think we could probably ask just about as much money as we want to, and they would sell out immediately.
Well, so I don't know if there's a guy that goes by the name Baseball Bros, and they test bats. He took a rolled and shaved bat. Okay. And what you do to roll a bat, to shave a bat, there's a restrictor ring inside the aluminum bat. You take that out. You literally shave a part of the wall, the metal wall of the bat. He literally hit 7 baseballs. Okay. Now he hit them like 122 mile an hour exit velocity, and 7 swings, that bat broke in half. He goes, so you can roll and shave your bat, which is illegal, but it will break after 7 competitive swings. And the thing is, it was a 30-ounce bat, and because it was shaved and rolled, he said all you have to do is get a scale. If you think someone's cheating, just get a food scale, bring it to your tournament, have them weigh the bat. If it says 30 and it weighs 28 and a half, it's an illegal bat. I was like, wow, that's because I had heard that, and I actually had someone that's whenever they went from the USSSA bats to the USA bats in Little League, it was like a nerfed bat, and you could hear it. It was almost like an old wet piece of wood is what it sounded like. And you could tell some kids, like, this kid's really skinny and he hit the ball over the fence. How was that? And I'm just like, I bet you that's a rolled bat. But I didn't know at the time how to prove that.
Yeah.
But and of course those things are put there for safety reasons,
Right. I mean, BB core, all that kind of stuff, what it really does is, and I laugh at players all the time that, chase the new craze as far as the bat. Oh, this bat is so hot. This bat is that, this bat. BB core actually means it's limited. It's not the old school aluminum trampoline effect. That's the whole idea why it went to BB core, was to have a system that, and a plan in place that, kept everything on the up and up, that one bat really isn't better than another.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sitting here thinking about all the bats that we use, growing up, and
I can remember mine was a Black Magic.
Oh, that was
Black Magic. Oh yeah.
Did you ever hear of the very, very limited run of the ceramic bats?
Vaguely.
There were ceramic bats that lasted like 3 months, because I don't know. I don't know if it was Easton. Maybe it was a Bombay bat. I can remember who it was. Bombat or someone. They made these ceramic bats, and these bats would shatter in games because they're ceramic.
Well, you know what? Even the bats that they use now that are, you got the one-piece metal bats, and then you have the two-piece bats that same thing. You can't use them in the cold. They only have a certain number of hits in them. They do, especially the bigger drop numbers, the drop 10s, the drop 12s. The sidewalls are so thin that they break.
Oh yeah,
and
we would have guys walk up to the plate with a dented bat, and the umpire would be like, "You can't use that bat." And they're like, "It's my lucky bat." He's like, "No, it's got a crack in it and it's dented. You can't use that bat anymore. It's compromised."
Back in the old days when the bats were actually aluminum, you dented aluminum. It didn't matter. It was still aluminum bats. It wasn't compromised.
And then we had one game where a kid from out of town, I don't remember, it wasn't Liberty, it was somewhere close by Crosby. He hit the ball, the cap of his bat came off, and 2 tennis balls came flying out of his barrel.
Yep, tennis balls, or you put racket balls.
Right.
Put racket balls in. Well, I don't know if it really actually helped.
Well, this guy, his first 2 at bats, he had grounded out. So obviously it didn't work. And everybody's laughing at him.
You still got to hit the ball. You still got to get it in the air. It's, it's not going to help you make more contact. So
no. Well, hey, Mike, this has been a great show. I like how we went around the league. Mike, thank you for updating us on what you're doing. There's already people on here saying we're going to miss you covering the Astros. Good luck in your future endeavor. I know Mama Wheelhouse here has basically told me that I better get a meetup and like have me, Mama Wheelhouse, and Mike. She wants to meet you. So we're going to have to make that happen.
We can make that happen. Absolutely.
But yeah, seriously, we've got some cool things that we're trying to do this year. I know there's some former major leaguers that I reached out to in the off season. We're going to try to bring them on. So y'all stay tuned in to Back to the Bullpen. Look, we're 15 away from 1,000 subscribers. Help us get there. 1,000. Help the old lefty out. Look, he's not coming out of pitching retirement just to sit around and talk to 985 subscribers. He's here to see the thousands and thousands from around the world, right?
So pass the news. Back to the Bullpen is the place you have to come to get your Astros and baseball news.
That's right. We'll be covering all around the league. So from myself, from Mike, from Ram Shirts, our sponsor, from State of the Art Barber, our sponsors, thank y'all. Look, this is the H-Town script shirt that Mark is running right now. You can also get the Back to the Bullpen shirt as well. So make sure you stop by Ram Shirts, support him, support State of the Art Barbershop, 1616 South Friendswood Drive. Y'all have a good one. And go Stros.
Adios.
I'm looking to the bullpen to bring my lefty in. Keep the lead and make your team look pedestrian. It's in your wheelhouse, we'll swing for the fence. You know it's money around here, and I ain't talking expense. Strike 1, heat a low in the way, you can't hit it. You know you want to start a rally, but you better forget it. Strike 2, off speed, same spot, your car looking. Get ready at the plate, this time you're not cooking. Strike 3, swinging out of the zone. You ain't even touch it first. Tell me how they gonna drive you home. Walking back, looking like we ain't cool.